Yeah, some of the best places that you can actually deer hunt are around neighborhoods in Georgia, in Cobb and Fulton County.
Yeah.
That was a big thing. That's become a big thing, has been for some years now.
Yeah.
When I was maybe, gosh, I don't even remember, 17 years old or something, I got a season permit to hunt that Corps of Engineers land in Cobb County. And that was like a big deal. I think it was the first year they opened it up for hunting, but all it was strips of woods between neighborhoods.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're still doing that or not, but
they are.
There was some good hunting ground in there. You know, I don't even, I think I went in there and set up a bunch of spots and stuff, and then I don't even think I ever hunted it.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't remember you hunting it.
No.
I remember going out there with you.
You remember going out there with me?
Yeah, you got so mad we found a little bobcat skull on the ground, and I picked that bobcat skull up and I threw it, and you was like, "Man, you're messing up my deer spot. You got your scent on that skull."
He used to be bad. I remember one time he flew off the handle with Dad because we had just hung a stand and walked back to the truck, like probably 300 or 400 yards back to the truck, and Dad peed at the truck, and the spot was ruined. It was ruined.
That's why I didn't hunt out there. I threw that bobcat skull.
It was pointless.
Oh, I did used to be crazy about that crap, man.
Yeah.
You would have bought an ozone layer.
Oh my
Back
god.
then, if they had
Probably would have back then. Yeah. Dude, that's the way to get rich. Come up with a hunting widget that don't really do nothing.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it don't do the cough suppressor. I don't know if we've ever talked about that on the podcast or not, but the cough suppressor was when we were coming up. The cough suppressor was in every hunting store.
Yeah.
Okay. And and it was this black tube that they had built out. The internals of it was built out like a muffler. It had different chambers in it, and they had wadded up some cotton or something and stuck it in there. And it almost looked like an owl hoot. And this thing, the piece you put your mouth on was about this big, right?
You to cough into a little old.
So you were supposed to wrap your lips around a 1/2-inch tube and cough into this thing, and it would apparently it was supposed to silence your cough. Okay. Well, I remember I got a cough suppressor. All right, everybody had one.
Wow. Did you have one, Corn?
Yeah, I did.
Shorty needed that at Buck's wedding.
Yeah, he did.
But you thought, if you're sitting up in your deer stand, I mean, how many times you been sitting in your deer stand and a coughing fit hits you?
Right, all the time.
A
Where's my
lot.
suppressor at?
Yeah. I'm talking about it happens all the time.
Yeah.
And so you think, buddy,
happen.
you have just got something now that's going to change the hunting game. And so you're sitting out there, you got your brand new cough suppressor, and and you feel the coughing fit coming on for the first time. So you pull that baby out of your fanny pack, you wrap your lips around that little tube,
And you say, I've never had to cough with my mouth like this.
and you go to cough, and basically it just blows your cough back down into your throat.
Yeah.
And so
Reverb.
So then you're looking at this thing and you're thinking, did I get a defective model? I remember taking mine and completely taking it apart because I thought that somewhere it was clogged.
Oh, it's
Because
clogged.
basically you couldn't force any air through it and you were supposed to cough into it.
Point.
And I thought, there has to be something wrong with this cough suppressor that I have, right? There's nothing wrong with
There's
it.
something wrong is it's a cough suppressor.
Yeah.
You bought a cough suppressor.
I mean, you might as well took the palm of your hand and just pressed it flat on your lips and face and just tried to cough into your hand because it's just going to blow it all back down into your throat.
Yeah, the first time I did it, like, that blew my eardrums out.
Yeah.
I coughed into it. Yeah. Man, it hurts so bad.
Well, another question is if you have that much control over your cough to the point where you feel it coming on, reach into your bag, pull the thing out, then just don't cough.
Well, it had a lanyard too. You can hang it around your neck.
Yeah. Quick access.
Yeah, for them hard smokers.
Yeah, this wasn't a unit you kept in your bag. This
Okay.
is something you had
Hung
like your
around your
grunt
neck.
call.
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
You know.
It's genius though. Some old redneck out there came up with this idea for a cough suppressor. He made it, and it didn't even have to be good. And all the other rednecks bought it.
Yeah.
I mean, he probably made hundreds of thousands of dollars
yeah.
off of his cough suppressor
He made a lot.
back in the 90s.
It kind of goes to show you don't really need to create a solution. Like, you just need to identify if there's a problem. Oh man, coughing in the deer stand,
Yep.
that's a problem. So I'll just make something that addresses that. It don't work, but it addresses a real problem.
Yeah,
It doesn't have to work.
and if you're not looking to build a long-term,
Yeah.
business or product, you just want to get in and get out and
go
make
for
your
that.
money,
Yeah.
you just make your cough suppressor.
Yeah.
Run it for about 2 seasons and then cash out.
Uh-huh.
That's it, man.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's it.
I'm sure you can still buy them too.
Yeah, I don't
Surely
know.
not.
I ain't seen one in a long time.
No, I
Surely not.
Who made them back then? Was it Quaker?
I can't remember, but the classic things was it'd be a dude with a big old buck, and he's got his cough suppressor hanging on his neck.
Like, I wouldn't have killed this if it wasn't.
If
That's not it.
if that buck would have caught my cough, he never would have eased through. Son.
Yeah.
If you find a cough suppressor right now, it's going to be an antique. You might find like the 3 that are left that people forgot to throw away.
Yeah, a lot of those are in the garbage.
Oh, yeah. That's it. How much is it?
Good.
Dang.
Yeah, they're high.
That's a
That's
steal.
for a hard
That's a,
smoker right there, son. That man
Good
with emphysema
night,
hitting the
son.
tree
But there
stand.
is still somebody making a cough muffler. That first one she showed, yeah.
Huh. Maybe
Yeah.
that one actually works.
They do
It would be great if it actually worked.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here, KFVS 12, the news station, they covered it back in 07. Does it work just for men, the cough silencer?
just for men.
Yeah, so it was newsworthy even.
They forget about that sneeze. That sneeze needs to be silenced too, Bubba.
Yeah.
Good
The
point.
sneeze
Look,
is worse than
Look,
the
there they
cough.
pulled it apart.
That's what I did with mine. I told you they got a bunch of cotton stuff
Yeah.
down in it.
Back in
you're
the
right.
day, orange cap.
That don't address the sneeze.
Yeah, the sneeze is worse than the cough.
Did y'all see that storm roll through last night or
I heard
early
it.
this morning?
Yeah,
Heard it.
yeah,
Yeah, that was a solid storm, man.
yeah, it was.
Me and Solomon were standing in the doorway watching it roll through, son.
What he allow?
He liked it pretty good. Yeah, he did.
Did any lightning flash? Did it do that?
He doesn't spook at lightning or thunder.
Really?
He sure doesn't. He don't spook at lightning or thunder. So we was standing in the doorway this morning at that storm rolled through about 4 a.m.
Well, he's an outdoorsman anyway.
4 to 5, yeah. We stood out there and watched it come on through. And we've been going through a week of what's called sleep regression. It's a real thing.
It's a real thing.
It's not a clinical diagnosis, but it's a real thing where you're like, oh, this baby's sleeping pretty good. This baby's sleeping from 10 to 2, getting up, feeding, going back to bed from 2 to 6. My sleep's broken, but I'm getting some good long pulls between, wake ups and feeds. And then all of a sudden, at the drop of a hat, baby don't sleep. All of a sudden. It's called sleep regression. Okay?
So this started Monday?
This started while we were on the basic course.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at. You removed yourself from the family element there, and he was like, what in the world is going on here?
That triggered it.
Triggered it.
This don't make nice sense.
That could be what it is, but the people say that it is that when the child's sensory things are coming online heavy, like all of a sudden they can see good, they're processing sound, sight, touch, they're able to use their hands. When all these things start to come online, they're getting overloaded with all this input, and they don't know what anything is. I mean, think about this. You don't know what a light bulb is. You don't know what nothing is.
Yeah.
You don't even know what a bug is. And so you just sitting here getting it bombarded with all this stuff because your mess just came online. And so then you're kind of freaked out anyways. And so then when you get right tired and you start falling asleep, you're kind of scared to fall asleep. You know what I mean? Because you haven't gotten comfortable with your surroundings yet. And so, you know, it takes a lot to be able to get a baby going through sleep progression. It takes a lot to get them to go to sleep. And then when they wake up, they wake up. They don't wake up and go back to sleep like they normally do.
I'll say that could be the case, but all of these theories around babies is all speculative because nobody's ever remembered being a baby.
Yeah.
I thought about that.
Nobody's ever remembered, like, I remember when I was that young and I couldn't get to sleep because I was just experiencing everything. And
I was trying to figure out what a
I
light bulb was.
wasn't comfortable because I didn't know what bugs were. I seen one on the ceiling, thought, what the world?
I have thought about that. Nobody remembers what a baby is.
Nobody has ever remembered being that young.
Do you remember it, Chili? Being a baby?
Parts of it, yeah.
Okay.
Did you experience that with your sleep?
No.
No.
He just rolled right on through.
You always kind of knew what bugs and light bulbs were, didn't you?
Well, yeah, there is human intuition and an innate sense, you know, like how animals know how to do stuff that they've never even been taught.
Yeah.
Humans have that too on some level, and we just
They do.
Yeah.
Humans.
It's like in your genetic code. You kind of know what a dang bug is.
I was thinking about that actually this morning while I was hanging out with Solomon. I was like, he was created to exist on this earth.
Oh yeah.
So I was kind of touching base with what you're putting down there, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Kind of touching back base with that. Well, the reason I'm sharing this with you guys, my experience as a father now and a husband, what it's kind of maybe be thinking about over the last week is so much of what I think has driven me for so long in my life, whether it was coon hunting as a 13, 14-year-old, whether it was working a hard labor job on a farm with Don Tidwell, whether it was going to the Navy, going through SEAL training, whether it was starting 3 of 7 project and doing the things that we do. I think so much of what has driven me over the course of my life has just been this seeking for some sort of challenge, like seeking for some sort of struggle, you know?
Yeah.
That I'm just kind of wired that way. I don't know. I just want something like, and I enjoy seasons of rest too, but if you give me too long a season of rest, I'm going to figure out something to do to make things hard, quote unquote, again. Corn, you got a little bit of that in you.
Oh yeah.
This
definitely.
seeking for struggle, right? And one of the coolest things about now having a son here in my latter years and also being a husband to my wife is every day is filled with struggle, challenge, but also the greatest like joy and the most overwhelming feeling of love you've ever felt. Every day is filled with that. So like I do not have to seek in my day anymore for a challenge.
I seen you yesterday. You wasn't having to see no struggling for that. He was frazzled yesterday. He comes down
You
today.
get it. But
He was like this.
So that was the whole Blake. That was the whole first part of my day, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but the second part of my day after I got home was like, oh my gosh, like what this human right here is perfect to me. All right, I understand all you religious people. Oh, he's not perfect. He's a sinful human, and I understand all you religious people. Okay, I get all that, but to me, he's perfect. Like, I'm looking at him, he's laughing. Like, since when have you ever been able to look at something and just break down in tears over looking at it?
Yeah.
Since when? Since never.
You don't do that with a dog.
Since never.
No.
You don't do that when you look at a puppy. Oh, you dog lovers.
If you do, something's wrong with you.
So it's really cool, man.
Yeah.
It's really cool that, like, every day it's just filled with this rich, purposeful, meaningful challenge, struggle, both as a husband and as a father now. But at the same time, it's giving you all in the same day, oftentimes the biggest rewards you've ever experienced in your life.
Yeah, we've talked about that on here before, how with your family, your wife, and your kids, you experience the highest love and also the lowest lows, or the meanest means, or any of that. You experience the extremes with those that you love.
I don't know if this is other people's same experience or not. Like, because I could see, especially a man, missing out on so much of this if he was in a position in life where he had to just be at work every day. Like, and he couldn't be as engaged as I am with Brooke and Solomon. I could see missing out on a lot of it. So some people may be hearing this and being like, that wasn't my experience when I was raising up my kid or whatever. And Chad must be full of crap. Well, just to let you guys know, I'm kind of at a place in my life where I can just jump into it and get all of it. You know what I mean? And I'm thankful for that. I really am. It's forcing me to grow big time. And I appreciate you having compassion with me, Blake. And Dad, he just likes to make fun of me.
Dad was giving good advice to Brooke yesterday when they were leaving. They were walking out of the house like this, not really aware of what's going on. And Dad said, just don't stress about it, Brooke.
Just don't let it stress you out.
That takes a little time, especially with your first one.
Oh, yeah.
It'll be easier on y'all's second one. That part of it, you know what I mean? It does take a little time.
Yeah.
I was a nervous wreck with Buck for months when he was first born. But it does take a little time.
Everybody was asking Chad, hey, you want to come look at the tractor? You want to come back here and look at this land back here? You want to go look at my four-wheeler? He said, no, I'm just going to sit right here for just a little while and take it easy.
Oh, he had you down to a nub, didn't he?
He had me.
Buddy, take a stroll.
Buddy, I'm going to tell you, y'all, I know y'all might have been wondering about me this last week because you hadn't really heard much from me. Nobody's heard much from me. That's because I've been down to a nub, okay? It's because I've been down to a darn nub, okay? But that's good, man.
Yeah, it is.
That's good. But yeah, it's amazing that anybody's really stressed out about anything, because if you're going through something in life or going through a day and you feel a little stressed, why don't you just not let it stress you out? Whatever the thing is that's stressing you out, why don't you just not let it stress you out?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Cast your fears upon the Lord, just cast your anxieties upon the Lord.
I mean, it's easy to say that too, being so far removed from that part of his life. You know what I mean? I could see myself saying that to Buck and Nealon later on, you're stressing way too much, but it's easy to remove yourself from that.
It was all in well-meaning. He wasn't being,
right.
Hateful about it.
Yeah.
It's good though, man. Mm-hmm. Well, we are in the last chapter of Acts today, ladies and gentlemen, chapter 28. And for me, this is one of my favorite accounts in the whole book of Acts, because I'm going to go ahead and tell you, an outdoorsman, a redneck, a man who has a wood-burning stove.
On the way.
No, there's a wood-burning stove in the house I'm in now.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I have a new wood-burning stove being put into the other house that I have also. Okay?
Are you putting it in?
No, heck no. I'm hiring that out.
You should.
I'm
do
burning the dang
that.
house
Do
down.
that yourself, Bubba.
No. You know, a man like me can appreciate and understand what went down right here.
Yeah.
You know? I just think it's wonderful. Who's kicking us off?
I am. I'm gonna ask my brother Chili if he'll bring us some prayer this morning.
Bring it in the house, Chill.
If you will, pray for Chad.
Yeah, I was about to make a joke. I'll get to that later.
Okay.
Dear Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for giving us another chance to come together on a Monday. Please help us to never take that for granted. Want to glorify you today with everything that we say, do, and think, not only during this conversation, but also the rest of our days, wherever we go and whatever we do. Please help us to do that. And please help, again, this specific conversation to honor you and let your will be done. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
Amen.
So we just finished up 27.
Hold on. Did Chili have a joke?
Oh, it's later. It'll come into play later.
Okay.
It's not really a joke. It's just something I heard. It's a rumor I heard about Paul.
Okay.
We'll see.
So here in 28, this is the final chapter of Acts, and we kind of get what happens after the shipwreck took place. So Luke starts out writing, after we were brought safely through, meaning onto land, we then learned that the island was called Malta. Now, if you go look at Malta on the map, it's a little bitty old island out there.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, it's bigger probably than it looks on the map, but in relation to the sea and the land around it, little bitty old island. And we know from 27 that they had lost their navigational tools. Apparently, this would have been on the course for anybody making that route, because they would have stopped off there for whatever, had it there should they need it. And they've lost their navigational tools. Little bitty island, but
17 miles long, 9 miles wide.
yeah, somehow
Could run across it.
the Lord brought them to that spot. They were going down in the middle of this storm, and they didn't. It wasn't by their doings that they got to that island. So when I was looking at that and reading it, it just stood out to me, just more of the Lord's working in this. Obviously, we have many more reasons to believe that, but then you look and you just think, man, that little bitty island with no navigation, no intention of hitting that, and that's where they land. That's pretty wild.
That little bitty island was the most bombed island in World War II.
Really?
More bombs were dropped on that island than any other
Wow.
island.
Anybody know why?
I have no idea why.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah. So the native people showed an unusual kindness, for they kindled a fire and welcomed us all because it had begun to rain and was cold. And Luke is describing these people, the native people. The original language, the Greek, would have called them barbarians, but that would have just been what they called people that didn't speak Greek. And it was unusual for them to be kind, because apparently there were shipwrecks that would happen there occasionally, and they were typically unkind, from my reading, to the ones that would shipwreck on that island. And so I think that's why Luke notes it as unusual. Here these strange people are showing up on another island. They don't know them. It's full of prisoners. They know that. From reading on, we'll see that they know that. And then and they take them in, make a fire for them, give them shelter.
This is 200 and something, 276 people.
Yeah, it's a big old ship.
Okay. Now, a lot of y'all might not appreciate what's going on right here when they come up here on the beach and they build these people a fire. Y'all might not appreciate what's going on right here. But a man who has done hundreds of OTBs, that's called over the beach. That's what Paul and these boys just did right here. They did a over the beach.
Yeah.
They got jumped off this ship and come across that come up on that beach, right?
With no good gear.
Okay. These boys are cold. All these boys that just survived this shipwreck right here. I'm talking about they're coming up, they're dragging tail up on this beach and they're jackhammering cold. they're probably right on the verge of being hypothermic.
Well, yeah, and this is in the fall.
Yeah. And so the fact that the first thing these people did was build them up a fire, I'm talking about a lot of y'all can't appreciate that. I can appreciate that, all right?
Yeah, because it had begun to rain and was cold.
These guys, these people kind of saved their lives.
Yeah.
In a big way, you know?
And they didn't speak the same language.
Yeah.
They were non-Greek speaking people. And here they've come up. They can't even communicate with each other more than likely. And so, moving into verse 3, they've got this fire going. I'm assuming Paul takes it upon himself and says, I'm going to get some more wood to keep this thing going because I'm cold and wet. And so Paul's gathering up a bundle of sticks to throw them on the fire. Bam! Viper comes out and gets him on the hand.
Paul wasn't lazy. He was a hard worker.
No. Gets him on the hand. And them natives, they thought, good night. No doubt. They again, here we see, they know that they're prisoners, right? I mean, criminals, they're calling them. No doubt this man is a murderer. There was, in my research, there was Greco-Roman lore that prisoners would escape prison through a shipwreck and would be killed by a venomous snake bite. So this was like a tale, this was like a lore, a story passed down.
It's like a bad luck thing.
Yeah, and so they said, here it is happening.
Yeah.
Here it is. A prisoner has escaped, shipwrecked, and this snake's done got him. And so when the native people saw the creature hanging from his hand, they said to one another, no doubt this man is a murderer. Though he has escaped from the sea, justice has not allowed him to live. Now, this is not justice as we know justice. This is justice, the Greek god who would serve the justice to the people. Oh,
yeah, that's why it's a capital J.
Yeah.
It's speaking of a being, a god that they... Yeah, okay, I see that.
Yep, so they're saying this Greek god is not going to allow him to live. He is going to be served his justice by the Greek god justice for his wrongdoing. And however, talking about Paul, shook off the creature into the fire and suffered no harm. And so all these people are sitting around saying, well, give it a spell. He's going to be hurting in a minute. And so they wait for a while, and they're just knowing that he's either going to fall dead or start showing some symptoms of something. But when they had waited a long time and saw no misfortune come to him, they changed their minds and they do what has been done to Paul before. They consider him a god. They say, here, this man's a criminal. He's escaped. He just got bit by this thing. We know he's about to be judged by justice. And then nothing happens. And they say, he must be a god on equal ground as our Greek god because here he's fine. And when we went back to the Lystrans that said he was a god, and they began to worship him. Who did they say? It was him and one other guy. They said Paul was one, and the other guy was some other
Hermes
god.
And
yeah.
yeah.
And But they began to worship him. These people here, they don't really try to worship Paul. They just, that we know of, they just said that he was a god, and we don't see that Paul really refutes that. And so, but certainly Paul I'm sure, used this as an opportunity to share and minister to these people. And we see that he does in a certain way here in just a minute.
I think that we also ought to stop for just a minute here, Blake, before you move along past this account right here, okay? Because there's a few things here, okay?
Let's hear it.
Look, do y'all think that this is where the snake handling churches came from?
I don't know.
No. I mean, these snake handling churches, they read this, right? I think it plays into what they're trying to do. They're all up around there where Cornbread lives.
There's a big one in Kingston.
Yeah.
A big one. Yeah.
Okay.
Is this what they reference when they talk about it?
How could they not reference this?
Yeah, I seen a documentary on the one in Kingston, and they referenced that when Paul was bit by the snake, nothing happened to him. You know. If you've got the Holy Spirit in you, if you get bit by the snake, you'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I want to pause here, and I want to notice something. There is nothing in this text right here that implies that the fact that Paul had no effects from this snake bite was a move of God or a miracle performed by God. Because I think when we read this, in our minds, we think, oh my gosh, like the Apostle Paul God moved and saved his life from this venomous snake bite. Isn't that what, I mean, when you read it, isn't that what you just initially think?
Yeah.
Okay, there's nothing in this text that implies that God saved Paul's life in this instance right here, okay? Okay, when you research the island of Malta,
there's no venomous snakes.
There are no venomous snakes. That's not to say, well, there are venomous snakes, but the snakes that are there, they do have venom. But the venom is not going to kill a human being. Now that's not to say, because we see here the word viper used is a venomous snake. So it had some sort of venom.
Well, also a snake that's venomous could bite you and not envenomate you.
It could be a dry bite.
Yeah,
100%. That's a possibility. And so I'll leave room to say there at this time right here, there could have been vipers on the island of Malta.
Well, I would say so, because the natives thought something was going to happen to him. They surely had to have seen them themselves.
Or was that just some superstition? Have you ever noticed how...
people think any snake is a viper.
Have you ever noticed how scared of snakes human beings are?
Yeah. I
mean, it's quite a miraculous thing. Like, we caught a water snake the other day, and it was biting the tar out of my wife. Okay, look, let's listen to my producer over here.
Yeah, well, listen to me. I hate snakes.
Okay.
If you like a snake, you're an idiot.
99% of people would have been seeing that harmless water snake bite my wife, and they would have been saying, oh my gosh, give it a minute, she's going to die.
I wouldn't be
because
saying that.
Because it looks like a poisonous snake. It's got all the patterns. Yeah. I mean, it's a pretty mean-looking snake, you know? And so... If maybe there was a poisonous snake there, maybe you're right, Cornbread, but given the information that we have about this island, at least dating back to the earliest studies we can find about venomous snakes on this island, there haven't been any venomous snakes on there. There could have been way back then, but here, venomous snakes being snakes with a venom that would affect a human being. But there's nothing here that implies that God moved and performed a miracle to save Paul's life. I would be, because of that piece of just knowledge, they call it herpology. study of snakes.
Mm.
Okay. Because of that, it changes everything about like the way you view this account right here. You say, okay, well, this snake come out of the fire, bit Paul on the hand, and all of these natives, because they're just like, well, they're just like humans today. They think a snake bites you, you're going to get sick and die. Okay? Everybody's scared of snakes, and they're superstitious because this is an old story.
Yeah.
The prisoner escapes, he gets bit by a snake, and he dies. Justice is served, right? They're superstitious, and they think, okay, he's going to die, and nothing happens to him.
Yeah.
And it's likely that nothing happened to him because the snake that bit him didn't have venom that would kill him or even make him sick. And I just wanted to point that out because when we have snake handling churches that reference this text.
Well, Paul also didn't try to handle it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's a good point.
He didn't seek it out either.
That's another good point right there. But they'll reference this text and they'll say, well, look at this example of the Apostle Paul getting bit by this deadly snake and nothing happened to him. And it's like, well, hold on a minute. Like, let's actually see what this says right here.
Yeah.
And there's nothing in it that implies that this was some miracle.
Or that he tried to handle it.
Or that he tried to handle it. It
Yeah.
was an accident. It was an accident all along.
I mean, if you got to debunk snake handling for somebody, then there's some other things at play that you need to talk about.
Hey, snake handling's on the rise.
Yeah, well, if you listen to this and you're a snake handler, you need to quit.
Now,
But Blake, how many other portions of the scripture do we read and our minds just formulate what we want to believe about the narrative, and we don't actually see what it says?
Yeah.
Like, we don't actually read into the details of what it says. We just form this narrative in our mind in this particular text because I've read this, I've read this 20 times. And every time I read it, I'm like, oh my gosh, he got bit by a daggone rattlesnake or something, and he survived. Like, that's a miracle. There's nothing that implies that.
And it could be that too. I mean,
It
it could be that the viper was deadly venomous and the Lord saved him.
it could be. Yeah, it could
But
be.
the point is that was not Paul's intent to say, y'all see this? Bam! Watch, I'm going to be all right. That's not how it happened.
Yeah.
So you get snake handling from this.
I guess it could be, but if that was the case, I would at least think that the text would give glory to God for his survival.
yeah.
Without a doubt, the Lord used this situation to give Paul credibility, whether the snake was venomous or not, because they thought he was a darn criminal.
Mm-hmm.
And he wouldn't have been in the spot to do what he did next had that not happened. I don't think.
Yeah.
When they saw that and they thought, oh man, there's something about this guy. Let's bring him to Publius, the chief man, and let's take care of this guy. Don't say that they did that with everybody. 276 people here.
Yeah.
And Paul's the only one with the chief man that they list.
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying, Blake. Yeah, I mean, well, hey, man, for those who love God, all things work together for the good. For those who are called according to his purpose, right? For those whom he foreknew, he also predestined to be conformed into the image of his Son in our Lord Jesus Christ. So, this ended up working. This scenario ended up working. The Lord used it and worked it to the good of the ministry that he had called the Apostle Paul to.
Yeah.
Now he's on an island that he never would have been on, and he actually has a platform to speak from.
Yeah. And I mean, I do think you're right that we read many scriptures and we have this predetermined thought or idea about how we think it applies to us, and we read it and then we just conform it to the way we believe rather than reading it and us being formed or transformed into what it actually says.
In this certain part, I believe it's easy, though, because just like Chad was talking about the water snake,
Yeah.
he's not going to say Brooke was holding a viper.
Yeah.
In our mind, viper, and I mean, that could contest to having a word study about why the word viper was used. Could serpent have been used? Well, no, it was poisonous, so they used viper. I don't know that. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when I read the word viper, I automatically thought, puff adder or rattlesnake or something along that. I didn't think of
a venomous snake
That's
that
right.
didn't have venom that would kill a human being.
Right, exactly, yeah.
Yeah. But at any rate, he got bit and he suffered no harm. So if it was a venomous snake, must have been a dry bite because he didn't have any side effects. And then it shifts in verse 7. That happens. They think he's a god. And then it says, now in the neighborhood of that place were lands belonging to the chief man. And apparently that would have been like a title. There's like historical documents of Malta with chief man describing people. So that would have been like a title of the guy. His name was Publius.
He was the Roman governor of Malta.
Was he?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Rome was going to put somebody everywhere
yeah.
that was in charge.
And so he took them in, I guess Luke would have been with him, and I don't know who else, and for 3 days. And this man's father was sick with fever and dysentery. And I was reading some commentary, and they were saying, maybe it's right here. The fever and dysentery symptoms fit an infection caused by goat milk. So they're thinking, they're kind of trying to explain what he might have had. And it's called Malta fever.
I'll be darned.
That sickness. So it would make sense that maybe that's what he had. And so Paul heals this. He prays for him. God heals him through Paul, puts his hands on him, and he's healed. And when this had taken place, the rest of the people on the island who had diseases also came and were cured. And if we look back in Luke's letter that's entitled Luke, chapter 4, 38 through 40, Jesus heals Peter's mother-in-law of a fever. And then what happens? Everybody from the town comes, and Jesus heals them too. And so this is kind of reminiscent of that. Same author writing both of these books, Luke and Acts. And here the same thing has happened. Publius' dad is healed, and then everybody from the town comes in, and then they're healed too, who had diseases. They came and they were cured. And then the people of Malta honored them greatly, and when they were about to set sail, they put on board whatever we needed. And, when you think about what has happened here, it seems right that they would do that for them, because this has been a big deal, what the Lord has done through Paul on this island. But you're a little old island like that out in the middle of the ocean. You don't have a lot of resources. The food you have, it's probably pretty hard to come by, but...
Well, they had thrown all their food away.
Well, yeah, the boat had, but I'm talking about the people on the island.
Yeah.
Paul probably even lost his Bible in the shipwreck.
Yeah, he probably lost. I bet he lost the whole New Testament.
He didn't even have his Bible with him anymore.
But I think it would have been a huge deal for the Maltese people to give that. I mean, everything that you need. I mean,
Well, this here in verses 7 through 9, here's a clear example of a true miracle, of a true move of God.
Yeah.
This is a clear example. I mean, you go to throwing down that sort of power, you go to wielding that sort of power, healing all these folks. Yeah. People going to want to take care of you.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, that's a big deal. And anyway,
yeah, it is.
these Maltese people give them everything they need. To me, the point is that was not no small feat for them to give up all that they needed for 276. Like, that would have been a big deal. And so, yeah, because of what had happened there, they were willing to do that. And that, to me, that just gives credit to how exactly they received them, how they felt about what was done for them, the healing, them believing that Paul was about to turn up dead because of that snake bite, and he didn't. And so all this happens. They give them everything they need, and then they set out from Malta, and now they're headed to Rome.
I also think that it's worth noting in this section that so often when the Apostle Paul is presenting the gospel, he to Jewish people, which he always went to the Jews first, right? Yeah. And we'll see it again here in just a minute in Rome. He sits down with them and he tries to reason with them from the scriptures, the Old Testament scriptures. He tries to reason with them. He sits down with them and tries to teach them. But in this example, when he's out here with a bunch of barbarians, he can't reason with these people from the Old Testament scriptures.
Yeah.
So what happens? Like, he falls to actually, like, showing forth the power of the God that he worships through this healing.
Yeah, he didn't plan on being here. You know, he didn't have any. When he shows up these other islands, he has a plan. I'm going to go here. I'm going to present this. And here, this was quite obviously a plan the Lord had for these people to know. And the Lord provided the opportunity for himself to be known.
It's just the only way to get through to these people.
Yeah.
Is if God in his mercy decides to move and use the Apostle Paul in this place to have this power to heal these people, is the only way to get through to these people.
Yeah, these if we look at Jesus and the many times he served and shared the gospel when Jesus was on earth, many times, especially with people that were non-Jewish, that people that were Gentiles, he would meet the need that the people had and gain credibility, gain their attention, and then he would like the woman at the well, the people that needed healing. Sometimes it may have been with the Jews, but oftentimes with the Gentiles. And the whole point of all of this is that when you go in to talk to somebody or share the gospel with somebody, it may be a bit of a corny saying, but I've heard somebody say before, nobody cares how much you know till they know how much you care. And that's what they've done here. That's what Paul's done here. He showed them how powerful the Lord is, how much the Lord cares about people, how much Paul wouldn't have prayed for those people if he didn't care about them. And he's shown them how much he cares, and that opened up the door for him to share with them what he knows. Now, we don't, in this beginning part, we don't get that account, but certainly Paul shared the gospel. And I mean, there's no way he didn't from the track record and what we read of him in the past.
Well, we can know that he did because we know what happened with. By the way, y'all have been very disrespectful to Saint Publius. You're mispronouncing his name. You're calling him barbaric.
Is he a saint?
He's a freaking martyred saint, buddy.
Publius?
Publius. He's got a feast day in the Catholic Church, man. He was killed by Emperor Hadrian. He's literally a Christian bishop.
So he was converted here.
Yeah, buddy. And y'all disrespectful mispronouncing his name, man. He's a saint bishop.
Well, look, in America, he's Publius.
Yeah, Publius. That's right.
Publius.
No.
Dang, so he was converted here.
Yeah, there's no question whether Paul shared the gospel with him. I mean, none of that would have happened even if Paul had just healed his dad, but didn't share where that power came from. Like, that wouldn't have converted him.
Right.
You know what I mean? He would have had no idea of.
Yeah.
So obviously we know he did. It's pretty, and we know the result that it had,
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Part of the ripple.
Mm-hmm.
I did not know that dude was a saint.
Yeah, let's not be disrespectful.
We need to start praying to him.
Publius.
Yeah.
Well,
not praying to him, but like asking
For
him
him?
to pray for us.
yeah.
Just like we ask each other to pray for each other.
You could just have unspoken.
Yeah. Yeah, we need to start at this. Man, we've been missing out on that.
That's kind of
Ain't nobody around here asked Saint Publius to pray for them lately.
He'd probably even take an unspoken.
Yeah.
He probably would.
Hit me with that unspoken Publius.
You think
He probably would.
you think he handled snakes after that too?
No.
No.
No. Well, yeah. After 3 months, set sail on an Alexandrian ship. So
Yeah, where'd they get their ship from? I mean,
This ship was docked
said it
on
had
Malta.
wintered
Okay.
at the island,
Yeah.
but like where did that come from, and why was it there, and why did it?
Probably because they had sense enough. Whoever was the captain of this ship had sense enough to not be sailing around
Very well.
like the captain of Paul's ship.
Yeah, and knew Publius's island was a good place.
Yeah, and they said we better pull off in here and spend the winter here,
they
so
said,
we don't
Hey, Poob, you got a boat?
so we don't end up shipwrecked like whoever this idiot was that was the captain of the ship the Apostle Paul was on.
Well,
Hey, pup.
you're still disrespecting him, but it is interesting too that it notes that the twin brothers were on its figurehead. The false gods, Castor and Pollux. But
the twin sons of Zeus.
yeah, they just got on it anyway and had to just deal with that. Paul probably didn't like that, but he was used to it. He's surrounded by all this false goddery.
Yeah.
After we put in at Syracuse, we stayed there for 3 days. From there, we sailed around and arrived at Rhegium. And a day later, a south wind came up, and on the second day, we came to Puteoli. So all these are, these Italian places, like in around Sicily, current day Sicily. So they're just moving along there, sailing around,
Yeah.
trying to get to Rome. And I guess in Puteoli it's talking about, it says there we found some brothers and sisters and were invited to stay with them for 7 days. That's ultimately how we came to Rome. It's pretty cool. It says from there, the brothers and sisters, when they heard about us, came as far as the market of Appius and 3 inns to meet us. That was like 40 miles away and 30 miles away. So not that these people were ultra runners, but it is very interesting how far some people
Oh, yeah.
covered, like legit.
A long walk.
Yeah, and then you got to go back, and then we've seen further stuff. I mean, it is pretty interesting. It was a lot more commonplace back then to cover long distances on foot than it is now.
Yeah.
And it wasn't really for recreation then. It was for a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
But
And this greatly encouraged the Apostle Paul,
yep.
this fellowship with these brothers and sisters. I can see why.
Yeah.
Look at all he suffered for the sake of the gospel, and he at least here is seeing some results of his life's work.
Christianity was clearly, it didn't have the boom yet that it ultimately has, but it was, you don't really know, but it was spreading to some degree, for sure right now. So, and already had.
So they
Yeah.
spent 3 months on Malta?
That's what it says. After 3 months, they set sail. So probably had to get recovered, Everyone was
Wait for
shipwrecked
good weather to come in.
Yeah.
sick and
That's a spell.
starving.
3 months is a spell to spend on the island like that. Unplanned. I bet them people in Rome was wondering, where is this ship at? We're supposed to be
that's a good point.
expecting 276 people months ago. And this grain.
Oh yeah,
or-
ships.
or-
That probably happened all the time back then.
Yeah, they'd probably written it off.
Yeah. How long we been going, Courtney? Ooh, unfortunately, we're out of time on today's Monday meeting.
Oof.
Oof.
Talk too long.
Sorry, cornbread.
It's okay, Bubba.
What are you gonna be picking up in next week? What verse?
17.
17.
Next week we'll we'll probably be in Acts for at least 3 more weeks.
Yeah.
No,
We're unsure of what book we want to go to next, so we got
tomorrow or next Monday we'll talk for 30 minutes about something, a dog or something, and then we'll finish Acts, but barely.
Drop in the comments of this video what book that you guys want us to study next on Monday meeting.
Ruth.
Drop in the comments.
Genesis.
I say you do Paul's letters in chronological order. In the order he wrote them.
I think we ought to go back to Genesis and talk about how this thing got started.
We should have done that. We should have started with that before Matthew.
Well,
We've
it's
already
just a
went down.
taste.
We've already went down the road now.
You tell people like, "Hey, here's the culmination of it all," but it's like these movie series where they actually go back in time.
So
Here's how it
So
started.
you vote Genesis, you vote Ruth, I vote it would be Galatians. So
Blake's still stuck on the law. We've been set free from the law, Bubba.
let's go to Leviticus.
Chad avoids that Old Testament like the plague.
Hey,
Son.
hey, Bubba.
Go look how crisp them pages are in the beginning of that Bible right there.
Look,
He may avoid the Old Testament, but he's a crypto Zionist. I'll tell you that.
Jesus fulfilled all that stuff in the law,
I know
man.
it. Yep.
You need to get out of the law.
I ain't in the law.
You need to
bub.
get into the law of grace.
Hey, pub.
Grace upon grace, man.
Well, we've all voted. What's your vote?
I hadn't decided yet. Y'all drop it in the comments. You may sway my vote. All right. We love you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Enough said.